Good evening, Sai Krishna.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so let me start the session.
Yeah.
So in this session, we are going to learn SQL. Okay, so here SQL stands for structured,
Query language, I think.
yes, structured query language. Okay, so SQL stands for structured query language. Why do we need this structured query language? Is there any need to learn this language? Okay, so for example, in the name itself, it is saying that language. So what is meant by this language in the sense? For example, let us assume that I'm from another state. Okay, so for example, if I want to communicate, or else if I want to speak with the people which is located here. Okay, so then what is the source? I have to speak with another people. So one thing that I have to learn the language which the people are speaking, or else another source is nothing but I have to keep the people beside me, those who knows the language which I knows, as well as which the other people knows. Correct? So but here what is the language in the sense? It is used to communicate with the databases. Okay, so this SQL is used to communicate with the databases. So if you observe this entire sentence here, we are finding the new word called as database. Correct. So for example, let me open the Excel here. Okay, so how much data we can store in Excel? How much data we can store in Excel? Limit 1,000 records we can store, or else how much we can store? 10,000 we can store. Okay, so if I want to store that much of data, it is possible. But if you want to report, it is highly impossible. Means it's possible, but it is difficult. Okay, so for that purpose, we are using SQL. To store high amount of data, we are using SQL. Means where we are using that much of data in the sense, we are storing that much of data in the databases. Okay, so database is used to store the data. Used to store the data. Okay. So database is nothing but what? It is used to store the data. And database is the collection of tables. Database is the collection of tables. So for example, did you heard the word called as table? What is meant by table?
The data which is stored in a structured format.
Correct. So the data which is stored in a structured format means in the form of rows as well as columns. The data which is stored in the form of rows as well as column is known as tables. See here we are using this structured query language to communicate with databases, correct. But how we are storing the data in the databases in the sense we are using tables to communicate. Okay. In that
Excuse me,
table,
ma'am.
yes.
Are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, it is not. Sorry. Now
It is
it's
not visible.
okay. Now it's now
Yeah,
is it
now
okay?
visible. Yeah,
Okay.
visible.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So data we are storing in the table format. And table how we are storing in the form of rows as well as columns. Okay. So for example, let me see here we are saying that we are storing in table format. However, we want that much we cannot store. Means we are storing in a structured format. Okay. So for example, let me take here as employee number, employee name, salary, job I will take. In the column employee number, we have to store only employee number. We cannot store employee name here. Means what? We are following one structured format. That is nothing but, so for that purpose, we are using the structured query language to communicate with databases in a structured format. We have to use structured query language. And if you observe here query, what is meant by this query? So query is nothing but questioning. Query is nothing but question. What we have to question? Okay, so what we have to question in the sense, for example, if assume that this is the employee table. Okay, in this employee table, if we want to retrieve only employee names means we are questioning to database. So then we have to write one query. Okay, means we have to write one query to retrieve only employee names. Okay, so from database to retrieve the data in a structured format, and by questioning the database we are using SQL. Okay, so this is why we have to use SQL. Understood? Okay, so next, so to work with this SQL we have to use one software called as SQL Server Management Studio. To work with queries which is present in SQL, we have to install, means we have to download one software called as SQL Server Management Studio, nothing but SSMS. Okay, so see Microsoft SQL Server Management. So first let me open this. It will take time to open. It will take some time to open. Please be patient. So this is the window which we are working, which we are going to write our queries. Okay, so this is the software we are going to work with. And here if you observe, this is the symbol of database. Okay, this is the symbol of database. Means it will look like, so let me draw. The shape of database is
Ma'am,
yes.
ma'am, is it paid software or free software?
Come again?
Is it paid software?
No, free only. You can download it from means you can download it from Google. I'll share
Fine.
the steps.
Okay.
See, the shape is not coming properly. So if you observe here, it is the shape of a particular database. Okay. So as I told that database is the combination of what? See, here you can observe clearly. Okay. This is the symbol of a particular database. So whenever you are, these are all the databases. Okay, let me open this employee database. In this, if you observe the tables, so table is nothing but the combination of what? Rows and columns. Okay, so in that particular employee database, these are all the tables. So see the symbol here. What is the symbol? Table symbol. Okay, so from here only we are getting the clarity that database is the collection of tables. And if I open this particular table, okay, so see here columns are there. Means in this particular table, these are all the columns which are present. Okay, so database is the collection of tables and table is the collection of rows and columns. Okay, so in this table, if you want to retrieve the data, first of all, we have to connect with table. To connect with the table, we have to compulsory connect with database. Correct? So this is the hierarchy. If you want to work with a table, the table is present in database. Means we have to connect with database. Correct? So means if you want to work with the columns, we have to open first table. If you want to work with table, we have to open database. So this is the hierarchy: database, table. In that, if you want to retrieve the data, we can retrieve. Okay, so this is why we have to learn SQL. Okay, so based on this SQL only, we are writing the queries. So you can get one doubt that where we have to write the queries. Correct. So whenever you open this software, here if you observe, one option is available. What is that option? New query. Okay. So whenever you click on this new query, the new tab means the query editor will be opened. Okay. So it will take time. So this one we are calling as query editor. Okay. Na? So if you want example means, I will show that. See here, this master is the database. Okay. Now if you want to work with employee database, must and should we have to connect with employee DB. Okay. By default, when you install, 4 databases will be installed automatically. What are those? In the sense, master, model, MSDB and TempDB. These are the 4 default databases. Means I have not created these databases. By default, when I have installed, automatically these 4 databases has been means automatically installed. ఓకే. సో మీరు ఇన్‌స్టాల్ చేసినప్పుడు మీకు తెలుస్తది. మీకు కూడా ఆటోమేటిక్‌గా 4 డేటాబేసెస్ అనేవి ఇన్‌స్టాల్ అవుతాయి.
Okay, DB in the sense,
డేటాబేస్.
.excel save లాగానా DB?
ఆహా! కాదు. డేటాబేస్‌ని షార్ట్‌కట్‌గా డీబీ అంటాం. దానిలో మనం సేవ్ చేసేది .ఎక్సెల్ ఇలా సేవ్ చేయాలి. ఎక్సెస్ అని సేవ్ చేస్తాం కదా! ఇక్కడ మనం సేవ్ చేయాలి అంటే .SQLతో సేవ్ అవుతాయి. SQLతో సేవ్ అవుతాయి. So, okay, so for example, if you want to work with employee database, we have to choose this. Okay, so in this, let me write one query. I'll explain these queries later. But now I just want to show you the data. So for that purpose, I'm writing one query. Okay, so this is my query which I want to retrieve the entire table. Okay, so after writing, click on execute. So see, this is my employee table. I'll explain how to write queries in the next session. But just for showing purpose, I'm showing. Okay, so this is what the table: employee ID, employee name, job, department ID, salary. These are all the columns, and total 19 rows are present. So see, I have connected with employee database. So when I'm writing select star from employee details are coming. But now I'm connecting to restaurant database and I'm writing the same query. Okay, I'm executing. See what we are getting? Invalid object name. Table is also known as view or object. Table is also known as view or object. So let me write. Table is also known as view or object. And columns we can also known as field or attribute. And rows we can also called as records or tuples. So these are all the another names. Okay, so table we can also called as view or object. Columns we can also called as fields or attributes, as well as rows we can call as records or tuples. So here if you observe, what the error it is showing, object name does not exist. Object means what we are calling? Table. Correct? So see, table invalid object name employee. Why? We are retrieving the data from a particular table. But the table, if you want to work with table, first of all, we have to select database, right? But here we are selecting another database. So means what it means? We have to select the database. In that database, what are the tables we have present? Only we have to work with those tables. Okay, so restaurant we are selecting means what are the tables which is present in restaurant only we have to work. Other than that, any other table will not work. Okay, so this is about the SQL and how to retrieve in the sense like this. Okay, so before discussing about all these queries and all, let me show you the course content, what we are going to discuss in the next upcoming 15 days. And this SQL will contains 15 days or almost 16 to 17 days. Okay, so let me open the course content and I will share the syllabus first. So this is what the syllabus we are going to learn in the next upcoming 15 days. Okay, so now we have seen that what is this DBMS, means sorry, database, correct? So next, in upcoming classes, we will discuss about this RDBMS. What is this RDBMS? Is there any means basic version of this RDBMS? Means previously we are having DBMS, but now we are working with RDBMS. Why we have to move for this RDBMS and all we will learn. Okay. Next, what is this SQL Server? So how to install SQL Server Management Studio? Why to install only SQL Server Management Studio? And how to log in and all we will see. What is this query editor and all we'll see. And we have already told that this database, right? So if you are working with database, compulsory we have to know that how to create database first. Correct? How to create database, how to create tables in that particular database, and how to drop the database. If we have deleted particular database, then how to back up that particular database, we will see. And the next, what is this TSQL? In this TSQL, these are all these five are the main concepts. Okay, data definition language is also known as DDL. Data manipulation language, data query language, data control language, transaction control language. These are the five important topics which we are going in the entire SQL. Okay, so this data definition language which is used to create the table. Okay, creation means after creation, if you want to perform any modifications, then we have to go for this DDL. Okay, so just for creation, we have to go for DDL. After creation, we have to insert the data, right? So if you want to perform the insertion or if you want to edit the data which is present in the table, then we have to go for DML. Okay, next we'll see this data query language last. Next, data control language means here we have inserted some data, correct? But we are not saving that data in table. If you want to save that data, we have to go for DCL, which is nothing but data control language. Next, creation completed, insertion completed, and saving is also completed. But now you are working with one database and your friend is working with another database. Now your friend is asking you the permission to give the access of your database. Okay, means what, you have to give the permission for another person. Means then how to give the permission? So then you have to work with TCL. Okay, so this is creation, this is for insertion, and DCL for saving the data, and TCL for giving the permission and taking back the permission. Everything is fine, but now data is present in table, right? From that table, if you want to retrieve in the sense how to take the data. So if you want to take the data from the table, then you have to work with this data query language. So this is the main thing which we are going to use, data query language, use it to retrieve the data from the tables. Okay, next table. So this table comes under DDL only, creation of table will see. And based on, if we have created one table, so based on that table, now I have to create another table. Then how to create? And altering in the sense modifying. We have already, for example, let me create employee number, employee name, salary. 3 columns I have created. But now I want to add one more column to the table. For example, I want to add department ID for the particular table. Then what should we have to do? We have to modify. That modified in the sense we have to alter. Next, to drop the table. How to delete a particular table and all we'll see. Next, constraints. Constraints are nothing but rules for a particular table. Next, data types. And data types, almost these data types will work with Excel also. So same, whatever the data types which is present in Excel, those only present in Excel SQL also. And one more thing that I forgot to tell, that this SQL is also known as SQL. SQL is also known as SQL. So firstly, the SQL has been discovered by IBM company, and they named as Structured English Query Language. Okay, so for the first time, IBM company has been introduced this SQL. By English in the sense, whatever the words that is present in entire SQL is related to English only. Every word, whatever we can see, that entire words will be related to English only. But after IBM, it has been owned by Oracle, and they have changed the SQL name to SQL. Okay, so later from IBM to Oracle has been owned, and they have named as SQL. So this, we know the full form of SQL is nothing but structured query language. Okay, so next, what are the data types present, we'll see. And I have tell that in this DML we are inserting the data, how to insert the rows. For example, you have inserted like let me take any name, Sai I will take. So the spelling of Sai is SAI. Instead of SAI, I have given as SAII. Okay, then how to modify that data in table, those and all we will see in data manipulation language. And if you want to delete particular row, how to delete, those and all we'll see in DML. Next, DQL. So in this, what is this? Select clause, where clause, between, in, like, order by, group by, distinct keyword is null, everything we'll see in this data query language.
This, everything related to the formula based or
Queries based.
queries?
Means we have to learn one syntax, based on that syntax we have to write the queries. ఒక సింటాక్స్ ఉంటది, లైక్ మనకి సెలెక్ట్ అంటున్నాం, సెలెక్ట్ ఒక సింటాక్స్ ఉంటది, ప్రతిదీ ఇంకా సెలెక్ట్ కి బేస్డ్ మనకి క్వరీస్ ఉంటాయి. వేర్ అంటున్నాం, ఇక్కడ సెకండ్ వన్ ఉంది కదా వేర్. సో ఈ వేర్ ఎందుకంటే కండిషన్స్ ని చెక్ చేయడానికి, ఆ కండిషన్స్ ని చెక్ చేయాలంటే మనకు ఒక సింటాక్స్ ఉంటది, ఆ సింటాక్స్ ని ఫాలో అయ్యి ప్రతి కండిషన్స్ ని రాయటం. సో ఎంటైర్ విల్ బి రిలేటెడ్ టు సింటాక్స్ ఉంటుంది. Syntaxes. So next, building functions. Function is nothing but function is a block of code which is used to perform a particular task. If we are performing any task, that is nothing but functioning. For example, the purpose of water is nothing, means the purpose of water bottle to store the water, means it is one function. Correct. So function is nothing but used to perform a particular task. These are all the functions which is present. Aggregate functions, string functions, date functions, everything. I think so you have already learned these functions in Excel. String functions, date functions, date functions, ranking, conversion functions, everything related to Excel. Next, so till now, if you want to retrieve a data from a single table, we have worked with this, correct? But now employee is present in one table, but that employee location is present in another table. Means now I just want to retrieve employee details, and I just want to retrieve the location of particular employee. Means now we are working with two tables, correct? So if you want to retrieve the data from two or multiple tables, not only from two tables, if you want to retrieve the data from the multiple tables, we have to use the concept called as joins. Okay, means joins means what? We are combining and retrieving the data at a time, simultaneously. Okay, so for that purpose, we have to use the concept called as joins. And set operators we already know: union, all, intersect, except, minus, all these and all will learn. And subquery, use security in the sense how to create a login. and how to give the permission. Previously we have discussed here, right? TCL means giving the permission for another database. How to give the permission and all, we'll see this. And transaction management is nothing but TCL. How to save the data. For example, by mistakenly I have deleted some data. Then how to get back the data from the table. Everything we'll see. And this is the syllabus of SQL, and this most probably we will learn in the next upcoming 15 days. Okay. So this is what SQL, why we have to learn SQL means to communicate with database. Why we have to communicate with database means if you work with database only, in that database the tables are present. So we have to work with tables. Correct. So to work with tables, we have to connect with database, and to connect with database, we have to learn one language that is nothing but SQL. Okay, so this is what the introduction of SQL. Any doubts from here? ఏమన్నా doubts? సో ఇది ఇంట్రడక్షన్, రేపటి నుంచి టాపిక్స్ స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం. అసలు ఎలా డేటాబేస్ ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలి, టేబుల్స్ ని ఎలా క్రియేట్ చేయాలి అనేది. From tomorrow we'll learn that how to create the database, and I'll share the files in the group. ఎలా ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి అనేది ఫైల్స్ షేర్ చేస్తాను. సో వైల్ కమింగ్ టు ద నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్, ప్లీజ్ ట్రై టు ఇన్స్టాల్.
Ma'am, session timings ఎట్లా?
ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ స్టెప్స్. Come again, I'm not understand what you said.
Session timings.
Session timings 5:30 to 6:30.
Okay.
So do you have any problem with the class, or else you can tell me?
So after 15 days, what is the next plan?
Next you have to learn Power BI.
Total duration courses?
Total duration class 1.5 month. 45 to 15 days. Means for SQL it will take 15 to 17 days. After that onwards, Power BI will be starts.
Okay, so total 40 days?
45 to 50 days.
45 to 50 days. Okay.
Okay. So is that clear, or is any doubts? Why SQL and why we have to work with SQL, understood?
Mm-hmm. SQL is a database, no? SQL is a database.
SQL is not database, it is a language. Means use it to communicate with database. To communicate, we have to learn the language. That is nothing but SQL.
Then
SQL
again,
is
database.
just a language.
Then again, database stored in finally in where it is stored in database.
Database will be stored in server.
So which format?
See, for example, I have shown here, right? So where is my SSMS? So if you install this software, you will understand clearly. So first of all, when you open this SSMS, means SQL Server Management Studio, immediately it will ask that to connect. Means we are connecting to server first. Okay, so in that server only all the databases and tables will be present. So let me open and I will show. So see, whenever I'm opening, it is asking to connect, right? Means this is my server name. What is my server name? Desktop D3QFUTH. This is my server name. ఎప్పుడైతే మీరు means while we are installing, automatically it will connect to your server. మీ సర్వర్ తో ఇది ఆటోమేటిక్ గా కనెక్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ మీరు కనెక్ట్ మీద క్లిక్ చేయాలి. మీరు కనెక్ట్ మీద ఇవ్వగానే ఇక్కడ చూడండి, దిస్ ఈజ్ యువర్ సర్వర్ నేమ్. ఈ సర్వర్ లోని డేటాబేసెస్ అన్ని ప్రెసెంట్ అయి ఉన్నాయి. వెన్ యూ ఎక్స్పాండ్ దీస్ డేటాబేసెస్, these are all the databases. What is this databases? Adventure Works, DW 2022, Anu, EMP, DB, Restaurant, Sales Data. These are all the databases which is present in a server. Okay, so in this server only the tables will present. See, These are all the tables which is present in employee DB. Means here one hierarchy is there. If you want to work with a table, you have to connect with database. If you want to connect with database, first of all, you have to connect with server. Okay, that server while you are installing automatically it will take your server name, your system name. Okay, so for example, let me open the files. How you want to install? So I'll share this in the group. Okay, so just click on this link. It will directly redirect you.
Explain.
Explain. దీనిలో ఉంది ఎలా ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలని. Okay, so this is the link what we have to install. Okay, so I'll share this in the Zoom. This is the link what we have to download. Okay, so after downloading it will ask you that developer or else enterprise version. Just select developer. In that just extract the files and then click on basic. It and all unnecessary. Okay, so just click on download. It will directly download the software and then you will choose. That's it. Whenever you click on that, it will automatically download. These are all the next steps after installation. Okay. So if you download, the next steps I will continue in the next class. Okay. Means you have to enable TCP or IP protocols and all. First you install, then I will tell what is the next process. Okay. So I have shared the link in the chat. Just go through it and just try to download.
Do we need laptops daily?
Yes, you have. If you want to work with queries, you need laptop. But for the first 2 days, it is unnecessary. So after 2 days, you have to. So okay, is it clear?
It's clear.
Okay. Okay, then so shall we continue the classes from tomorrow onwards? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then
Thank
you
you.
can leave for the day. Yes, thank you.